into a hotel and whack off somebody.
In this world, cesspool of kindness and ethical blindness. So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Bistro fraternity guy, you got the ass for bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to the side to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, we're so impressed. Lots of chicks and a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. I just can't understand it. How could divine by deception and lies? Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. She lives in a blue, letting cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like Katrina. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bo's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The public lamented. How could a body by deception and lies? Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, so let the parties will quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Plex. We do the show live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/EchoPlexMedia. You can support this project by going to the echoplexmedia.com, click the support tab. You sign up for a membership at eplex.store, at patreon.com/EchoPlex. You get the entire show sent to your inbox Monday at some point when I drag my carcass out of bed. I don't know. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Grindr, and this is what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. There's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Oh, when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Don't hate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops. Don't hate the cops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Thank your local police. Cause they don't do nothing wrong. Thank your local police. Got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the fairest judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. Cause they don't do nothing wrong. Don't hate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job. Don't hate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder, how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks? Don't hate the cops. 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 Don't hate the cops.
So a bridge fell down in Baltimore this week, and if you could imagine, people be cooking. People be cooking. Here's Nancy Mace cooking.
Here.
Yeah, you'll hear that. I'm sure you'll hear the Democrats have a press release and conference somewhere today or tomorrow about the need for $1 trillion infrastructure program after all the other ones. And that's my question to you. It seems like we do have these infrastructure bills, lots of money in it. I mean, I've been under bridges. They're horrible to look at. You look and you see rust. If you drive over bridges, you see things you are like, am I going to make it over this? The bridges are definitely old. The roads are old. But why, after all these bills, after all the money, do we still have really old bridges and really old roads?
Because we're not spending it on roads and bridges.
Right.
Look at the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that was done a couple of years ago that the left hails as this massive success, but it was mostly Green New Deal. Actually, in that bill, $110 billion went to surface transportation, which is roads and bridges, and of that $110 billion, $70 billion went to public transportation, leaving only $40 billion for traditional roads and bridges, what you and I think about. And if you live along the coast or you live near water, you know that our bridges are rusting out. You know that we have many, many bridges that have to be replaced and upgraded. And you know it's probably about $1 billion a bridge every time. And so I look at South Carolina when the infrastructure bill came through, we really only got $1 billion more than we otherwise would have over a 5-year period. I can barely build a bridge in my district for $1 billion. That's just one district. So we have to be smarter. You look at the spending bill we did on Friday, all the waste that's in there, things that the government should not be paying for when it could be going to things that are the government's purpose, just like this.
I don't know, though. How do you fortify a bridge against a fucking ship that size just smashing into one of its main supports? Like, I'm not sure that bridges are designed to withstand that. This doesn't, what do you put a fucking missiles or something on it? Like, how do you prevent a boat that big from destroying, like, look at how big that fucking boat is and look at all the cargo on it. Think of the fucking force that it hit that fucking support with. I don't think there's a bridge in the world that wouldn't take down. Like, what the fuck is she talking about? But don't worry. We've only begun to cook here. Up next, we got, well, if you could imagine, self-proclaimed proclaimed Christian prophet Dutch Sheet says that God told him in a dream last week, actually, that the bridge was going to fucking collapse.
I think if we're going to look at the prophetic aspect of this, which I think is appropriate, I'm going to say I received a dream sent to me a week ago, and it's the only dream I've ever received in my life, in which it had the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner. And in the dream,
the Star Spangled Banner was playing as this barge destroyed this bridge.
Travail at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. And as I stood from the travail, I stood up with a guitar and I strummed the key of C. That's a play on words. And then I began to sing the national anthem.
If it's a play on words, maybe you shouldn't have to tell everybody that.
And I said, "Oh, say, can you see?" It was all about removing the delusion. Obviously a warning, obviously connected to the nation, this bridge.
Like the Nation of Islam?
And this dream. And so what God is saying is he wants us to cry out, continue to cry out for the breaking of the delusion over America so that we see clearly and that we have authority to break this spell of delusion so that the people can see, including our leaders in the Capitol and elsewhere. I hope that made sense. I tried to do
No, absolutely does not make any sense. If somebody had to ask me to summarize what that man just said, I would be like, fuck if I know, man. Fucking crazy town. Apparently he had a bridge and he played guitar and he played the national anthem and "Oh Say Can You See" after he played the C, the chord of C on his guitar. See, that's a play on words. We got more. This is MAGA prophet Julie Green. It also says God warned her that something was going to happen to a bridge and a cargo ship. Not as specific, I suppose. Did she play a guitar in this? We'll find out.
That hit a bridge. And the bridge completely collapsed. The Lord has talked to us about waters. He's talked to us about cargo ships. And he talked to us about bridges and collapsing of bridges. And when I saw this morning, I was just, praying. I said, "Okay, Lord, how do you want me to handle it? What do you want me to do?" And of course, he wants us to pray about it.
Of course.
Because God has been warning us of these things starting to happen. And so now we're starting to see things. And God, again, has been saying about things are intensifying. That's why we always should be praying that we are always at the right place at the right time. Like we've had to cancel trips more than I want to admit because the Lord said, "No, don't go." And when God said,
the Lord said, "Your checking account is empty. You can't go on this trip.
Don't go, don't go." And the reason for that is because he knows if there's danger ahead. He knows if the enemy has a trap that you don't see. And so I'm asking each and every one of you this day, not only to pray with me, but we also have to pray together that no matter what the enemies are doing and no matter what they have planned, no weapon formed against us shall prosper.
What? So she had to cancel a vacation because God told her not to go. And I guess she got warned about bridges and water and boats by a God. This is wild stuff. But you knew as soon as that boat hit the bridge that there would be people just cooking it. And don't worry, we got more. A man who has never canceled a vacation because anyone told him to is Cocaine Don Jr. He's got some thoughts on the bridge.
Like, man, you watch that video in sped up, and it's like, there's the power outage, and there's the first correction, and it's like, well, it's not quite perfect on the mountain, so there's another power outage, and it ends up being perfect to hit the thing dead square. And I mean, that's critical infrastructure. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, any diesel mechanics watching right now, but I don't know much, but I know that these big diesel engines are, let's just call it like really fucking reliable, and it seems odd that one would go out, they could go out just conveniently and also conveniently within a couple hundred yards of a critical infrastructure bridge that's there for transporting hazardous waste in one of our biggest port areas in the country. Like, I don't know, folks.
What? it's just a freak accident. Like it's fucking like it's I don't know. It's fucking it's I mean it's not just a freak accident. People died. Fucking glad that shit didn't happen during rush hour. Fuck. You know how many people would have fucking died if that happened during rush hour? My God. Well, here's the mayor of Baltimore. gonna maybe bring a little bit of sanity to the discussion.
Now is Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott. I will allow you, Mayor Scott, if you choose to do so, to respond to the tomfoolery and attacks on you for having the nerve to be black and also a mayor.
Well, I think, listen, I know, and we all know, and you know very well, that black men and young black men in particular have been the boogeyman for those who are racist and think that only straight, wealthy white men should have a say in anything. We've been the boogeyman from them since the first day they brought us to this country. And what they mean by DEI, in my opinion, is duly elected incumbent. We know what they want to say, but they don't have the courage to say the N-word. And the fact that I don't believe in their untruthful and wrong ideology, and I am very proud of my heritage and who I am and where I come from, scares them, because me being at my position means that their way of thinking, their way of life of being comfortable and suffering, and while everyone else suffers, is going to be at risk, and they should be afraid, because that's my purpose in life.
And the
Fuck yeah, Baltimore mayor. I didn't know he was that young. He looked pretty young. Looks like he's like maybe early 30s. Fuck yeah. I didn't see any of the clips, by the way, of people blaming him, but I don't doubt that they did, right? There's got to be clips out there of people blaming this guy, being like, oh, he was a diversity hire. Well, he won an election. Like, I didn't find any of the clips, so, but I believe him that people were trying to blame him for the boat hitting the bridge support. I mean, I guess he didn't go out there and stop it himself, you know. Anyway, up next, we're going to move on to the former guy. You know that he's selling Bibles, and that's amazing.
You know, from a Christian perspective, this is one of the greatest spiritual moments in U.S. history. Our nation was founded by Christians as a Christian nation. And so the parallels between the Bible, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all of our founding documents are derived from Scripture.
This is one of the greatest spiritual moments of our time. The president selling a Bible that someone else would give you for free, but he's selling it to you for like $60. And you know why he's doing this? He's doing this, everyone. He's doing this to keep the Bible accessible to everyone, because that's what I think of when I think of a Bible for $60 is it's accessible. You can give the guy $60 and he'll give you a Bible.
I have to mention the fact that people have gotten on us and Donald Trump about the God Bless USA Bible. I have mine here right in front of me, and this one is signed by the former President Donald Trump. It's a beautiful book, and you can get it at godblessusa.com or leegreenwood.com. See how beautiful this Bible is. Check that out. It's leather. It has the documents of the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the handwritten lyrics of God Bless USA, along with the Pledge of Allegiance. The reason we have this Bible is to make sure.
But none of that's in the Bible. Wait a minute. Wouldn't that be blasphemous to a lot of Christians? Like just regular people who are Christians, they would be like, what are you putting the Constitution in my Bible for?
More people have it accessible. If you have this Bible today, you'll be able to actually find out how our country got started with those 4 documents and be able to read them. Because sometimes if you go to Washington, D.C., those documents are under glass and they really are hard to see. The last time
yeah, nobody's ever transcribed them or anything. You can't look up the text of those documents on the internet or anything like that. Got to get it at the back of our Bible.
I can remember actually reading those in high school. So now you can have something right at your right hand and tie the fact that we came to this country to make sure we had the right to have our own faith and get away from the King of England, who was saying, you have to have my kind of faith.
Wait, we're doing this to get away from the King of England? This guy can't be fucking serious.
So here you are. God Bless USA Bible.
Just a 30-second synopsis. How did that come about? How did the Bible come about with this partnership with former President Donald Trump?
He needs money, friend.
I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but
he's hemorrhaging money.
With legal immigration, people who come here to be a citizen, there are 4 or 5 things that happen during the film that they watch. And the first thing is they hear the national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner, written by Francis Scott Key. And of course, that bridge just came down in Baltimore. Maybe they should make it the Lee Greenwood Bridge from now on. It won't come down. And of course,
What?
Of course, then you have the president's speech, whoever is president at the time, and that's changed every 4 years. You hear God Bless the USA, the song that I wrote in 1983, and that played also to acknowledge the fact that we're proud to who we are, we're Americans, and then they surrender the flag of their country and become an American citizen. It makes me so proud to know that we can add something to that. And when a citizen becomes part of the United States of America, believe me, they know more about our country than we do.
You know, Mr. Greenwood.
What the fuck? Okay, that was weird. I was like, I didn't know there's like a legal document, like United States legal documents and the Declaration of Independence and shit in the back of that. Yeah, I think that most Christians, like regular Christians, probably think that's gross. I don't know though. I'll have to ask. Everybody, here we go. One of the former president's lawyers has been disbarred, and it doesn't bode well for other litigation that he's involved in, other legal cases, because of the reason for the disbarment.
Will this have any impact on the actual legal cases that Trump is facing? Obviously, the nature and the substance of the facts are alleged in current lawsuits and prosecutions.
I think it's a powerful indicator of the trouble that Donald Trump will face both in the federal election interference case here in D.C. and the state one in Fulton County, Georgia. Why? The essence of the prosecution's case is that Donald Trump was in a conspiracy, no facts, no law. He wanted to hang on to the office, even though he knew he lost and Biden won. Well, that's what was found by a clear and convincing standard, not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. But boy, that's a big step in that direction. Powerful evidence. So that is a sign the prosecution will succeed. Donald Trump's defenses were also implied to be weakened today, because he can't say I relied on counsel if he had an agreement, if he was in a conspiracy with his counsel. And that's what this judge found. So very ominous for Donald Trump, both prosecution case and his defense.
This isn't the first time, by the way, that lawyers for Trump are facing consequence. I mean, he now joins a longer list. You've got Lynn Wood, Sidney Powell, Jeffrey Clark, Kenneth Chesborough, Rudy Giuliani. You have to wonder, is the law closing in on Trump if it's going through his lawyers as well? Norm Eisen, thank you so much.
Thanks, Laura.
Will this have any impact
on
the actual legal cases
starting
that Trump
over
is facing?
That's weird. Anyway, like I don't know how much bearing this has, but the findings in the lawyer's disbarment were that he engaged in a conspiracy to attempt to overthrow the election, and now he's not a member of the California State Bar. Again, this isn't criminal. You know, this is just the findings of a court regarding this person's disbarment. But it ain't good, right? It's not like this happened and then, or it's not like this. They tried to disbar the guy, and they're like, "Nah, he just offered like normal legal advice." Actually, what are you talking about? Because that's what didn't happen. So doesn't look great. We'll see. I'm skeptical of the federal case. I think the Georgia one is where all the juice is, but we'll see. See what happens. Here we go. Here's an exonerated Central Park 5 member talking about the attacks on him and I guess his fellow co-defendants by Donald Trump quite some time ago.
I mean, you were 16 years old at the time. I should remind everyone. What's it like to see him doing what he's doing now, 35 years later?
you know, when I think about a person like Donald Trump who is using his power to influence judgment, you know, I follow a faith as a Muslim that tells us that we shouldn't use our power to influence judgment. And here it is, 35 years ago for me, 1989, what he did by placing that ad in New York City's newspapers had a domino effect where people, the way I describe it really is that it was a whisper into the darkest enclaves of society for them to do to us what they had done to Emmett Till. We have a long history of oppression in this country when it comes to black people in general. And when I think about a person like Donald Trump who's in power, who's trying to use his influence to affect the outcome of elections, to be a person who says, look at this shiny apple and that be a sneaker, or any of the other things, you know, that whisper, that influence that causes people to say, well, I'll take care of it. And hope, and I'm saying the people that do this, hope that they will garner the favor of a president that is moving tyrannical like that.
I mean, you were 16 years old at the time. I should remind everyone.
So this player I'm using here is starting these videos over, which I'm not a fan of, but whatever. Again, anybody listening on the podcast, if you're not aware, the show is live. The guy was, you know, pretty good. He's like, you know, there's a long history, and he brought up that he was a Muslim, and I like he brought up the sneaker. It was like, oh, like a shiny apple. I think I like that part the best, actually, the part about the sneaker. Good on him, and good on CNN for having that guy on, because, you know, like, I'm not sure that guy has gotten a lot of press since they were exonerated, and you know, they are the people. The Central Park Five are know exactly how this guy operates because it had a horrible negative impact on their lives. So up next, we got I almost didn't put this on here because it's kind of short, but here's some scenes from a Trump rally in Georgia.
And turn it out and bring it over the top, right? Is that the message we're sending him back to the office with? God bless you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, I'm glad I put my black jacket. That didn't work out. We'll repair that.
Everybody's okay, thank goodness.
So I was going to say, I'm glad I put my black jacket, white shirt, and red tie back in the closet today. And
I'm glad everybody's okay, too. Oh, man, set up your stage better, man. Set up your stage better. It's not that hard. It's just not that hard. Up next, we got just a quick segment from CNN about January 6th. And the former guy talking about January 6th.
He's now celebrating the events of January 6th. I mean, he's talking about pardoning those who are convicted of crimes related to the January 6th insurrection. He's calling them hostages. At his rallies, he plays a recording of the January 6th defendants singing the Star-Spangled Banner. I wonder how you react when you see the president celebrating that day, not even running away from it, but now celebrating it.
He's disgusting, but I know I'm not going to change anybody's mind. By the way, the video that came out along with those people singing the national anthem, the person who picks up the phone in the prison is the very same person who assaulted my brother.
Really? That's amazing. The same person.
I think the CNN host is like befuddled by this. He either didn't know, or he's just able to make a good befuddled face. Well, that's crazy that the singing the national anthem while you do that is a little bit weird. But like the fact that, like, I guess the president called one of the guys, and I guess it was this guy's a guy that assaulted this guy's brother on January 6th. That's pretty wild. Pretty good reporting by CNN, actually, to track this guy down, unless this guy reached out to them. But it kind of doesn't matter, because that's like, you know, I'm not big on like personal stories or whatever, but that's like the way most people are convinced of things, is through personal stories and stories mostly. So that's pretty good. So this week, if you don't know, former RNC chief or former RNC head who was fired by the RNC, Ronna McDaniel, was briefly hired by the NBC News Corporation to appear on MSNBC, and then was subsequently fired. Unfortunately, I think she's going to get fucking $300,000 for 2 years as her contract states. So that's $600,000 for doing nothing. And everybody went after her, even Rachel Maddow.
The person who is the head of the Republican Party during Donald Trump's time in office and during his effort to throw out the election result and stay in power anyway, and during his effort to run for election again after having done that, is Ronna Romney McDaniel. And she pitched in and helped. She helped set in motion the part of the plot that involved sending fake Trump electors to Congress from states that Trump did not win. So Republicans in Washington could use those fake, fraudulent elector slates to contend that maybe Trump did win those states, even though he didn't. And don't believe me on that. There she is on page 23 and page 27 of the federal indictment charging Donald Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States. There's her personal appearance in this scene of the crime, as alleged by the U.S. Justice Department in this ongoing criminal case. In Michigan, where the fake electors are themselves now on trial, she told the state of Michigan in writing explicitly, do not certify the election results. The Detroit News has reported that with Donald Trump on the phone with her, she directed Michigan election officials to not certify the vote. She told them, quote, do not sign it. We will get you lawyers. She pitched in. She was part of the project. And what was the project? It was to use the power of the Republican Party, Republican officials in the states, Republican office holders in Washington, the national Republican Party that she runs, to use the party's power to reject election results, to take over the government and hold power by other means. And this project is now ongoing, right? Now the project is to tell the American people that those efforts around the 2020 election were righteous. That 2020 election, it wasn't okay. Those election results were not correct. We shouldn't believe American elections. We shouldn't believe American elections are real elections. American election results should not be seen as real. They should not be respected. That's the project now, right? I mean,
so just a lot of people on MSNBC went on the air and were like, what the fuck are you doing? It's pretty rare, actually, to see multiple people at a news organization buck like that. You know, everybody from Rachel Maddow to Morning Joe, like, kind of bucked, and they ended up reversing the decision because it was a dumb decision. A person isn't a journalist. There's no reason to hire them at your news organization, right? But again, unfortunately, she's going to get paid $600,000 for her trouble, I think, because she had a 2-year contract at around $300,000 a year. Possibly including other benefits. So, I don't know. Fucking nobody wins. Nobody wins. I got a real quick hit of Sean Hannity next. They're coming for your meat.
They reject the overbearing Green New Deal regulations. You know, you've got to get an electric vehicle. They want to take away your stove, your refrigerator, your air conditioner, and they want to even take away your meat.
They want to take away your meat, everybody. They want to take away your stove, your air conditioner, and your meat. I don't want to do any of that. But it's funny that these people think so. But don't worry, everybody. Barack Obama, former President Blackula, still in charge, according to Marjorie the Gathering. Here she is on the Steve Bannon program to say some dumb shit like she always does.
Well, I think it's what we've all known all along. Obama is running the country. Obama is having his third term, so to speak. And everyone's always known that. And of course, he's coming out as the leader of the Democrat Party because he always has been the leader of the Democrat Party.
Like the whole time. Always.
Biden is just a puppet dangling on the strings doing what Obama wants him to do.
So Obama hasn't always been the leader of the Democratic Party. Like, he became the president in 2008 and was no longer the president as of 2017. And it's smart for the Democrats to bring him out to campaign. He is still popular among not only the sort of moderate Democrats, but generally among progressives too. So it would be real foolish, actually, not to bring him out to campaign on behalf of Joe Biden. Joe Biden at this point does need all the help he can get. So bring out Obama. It's a smart thing to do. Up next, also on the Steve Bannon program, we got Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo is going to tell you why he's not getting any acting gigs. I bet you already know what he's going to say the reason for him not getting any acting gigs is.
The cathartic moment. What was the moment that Kevin Sorbo and Sam said, we can't do this anymore, we got to do it our way?
Well, I ultimately get called in by manager and agent of many years, and about 11 years ago, and they said, we can't work with you anymore because you're a Christian and a conservative, and that's going to be hard for us to get you into any studios here. And I laughed at them, and I said, it's amazing. You're the people that scream for tolerance all the time and freedom of speech, but as you know, it's a one-way street, and they're hypocritical just like everybody else in Washington, D.C. is. So.
But there's plenty of people who are Christians and conservatives in Hollywood. Just immediately comes to mind Kelsey Grammer. Kelsey Grammer, I don't know if he's Christian, but he's a conservative, and Frasier just got a reboot, and I think it's pretty popular. I don't know if they're shooting it in Hollywood, but there's tons of conservative people that work in like movies and television and stuff. They're just not kook birds like this guy. This guy, the problem is he's kook birds, and he's like wiling out all the time and shit. It's not his beliefs, it's his behavior. It's been a while since we've had a clip of Crazy Eyes Michelle Bachmann, but here's Crazy Eyes Michelle Bachmann spreading a false Christian nationalist history of the United States of America on something called Flashpoint Live. And as always, shout out to Right Wing Watch.
And so they had us read, what is it that the founders read? Who are the philosophers they read? Oh, by the way, the number one document they referred to when they were trying to figure out what kind of a country we should be, guess what? The Bible. Oh.
Probably the Magna Carta.
You are all geniuses in this room. I wish I could have been half as smart as all of you. They looked at all societies throughout all history. They said, we've got a unique chance in all the world to create a society. What should it look like? What should it be based on? They studied
mostly the Magna Carta.
All societies and those forms of government, and they decided when they had done all that, they needed to search the Word of God. And so you can take the Constitution of the United States and the Declaration of Independence, you can literally tie it to a Bible verse about every 3-4 words. It's based upon another area of Scripture.
I mean, if you decide, but as we see all the time when people talk about the Bible, people like disagree about the meaning of the Bible. So like if you want to interpret the Bible and the Constitution that way, sure, but that's because you're trying to do that.
Any idea how blessed we are? I was blown away when I came to Tulsa and found out how magnificent this inheritance is that was given to us in this nation.
I wonder if she got an inheritance. This is all incorrect. I mean, you can... Like, so the Constitution and the Bible are both documents that are open to interpretation in some ways. And so if you, via motivated reasoning, want to connect any part of the Constitution, any part of the Bible, I suppose you could do it. I just feel like enough of the founders were like deists. And I don't know, if what she's saying is true, then I don't know why they wrote the First Amendment the way they did, because they certainly wrote the First Amendment in some kind of way, didn't they? Up next, oh, I love it. I love it. I was going to put this in red light, but I was like, the podcast listeners need to hear this. Mike Pillow having some trouble.
MyPillow is being evicted from one of its warehouses in the state. A judge granted the eviction. The company's landlord, who said it owes more than $200,000 in unpaid rent. This is the latest in a string of legal and financial blows to CEO Mike Lindell. The MyPillow guy reportedly owes Fox News almost $8 million in advertising fees, and his former lawyers said he was dropped as a client over millions of dollars in unpaid legal fees.
Just to add insult to injury, I also have a local news hit about it. This says basically the same thing, but I was like, well, here's CBS News. Here's CBS Minnesota talking about it.
New today, the MyPillow company has been kicked out of a building where they make pillows. The landlord of this building in Shakopee says MyPillow owes more than $200,000 in rent and other charges. Because of that, a judge evicted the company. CEO Mike Lindell did not show up to the hearing today. Last year, he did give us a tour inside the MyPillow facilities. This is the latest financial blow for the controversial founder of the company who made false claims of widespread voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election.
Not wearing masks in there?
We asked for a response to today's eviction, but have not yet heard back.
I noticed that people weren't wearing masks in there. I mean, that stuff's not like necessarily particularly dangerous, but there's a lot of particulates like floating around in the air from the memory foam. It's you just because. Yeah, you don't want to be breathing that. Why aren't people wearing any kind of fucking like anything to, what the fuck? Oh, that's crazy. But the moral of the story is, unless you're Elon Musk, you should probably pay your rent if you're running a business out of a place, because they will evict you. Unless you're Elon Musk, apparently. Up next, we only have one clip of this week, but here's Jessica Tarlov pissing off people on a Fox News panel. So I kind of like this.
He has abandoned Israel. And you want to know, it's not just Israel. He's abandoned Jewish Americans attending universities. I mean, let's be clear. Joe Biden will do anything to win Michigan. Throwing our biggest ally under the bus, throwing Jewish Americans under the bus at these universities, shame on Joe Biden. This is ridiculous. It's outrageous.
As the only Jewish American on the panel, I think. Trace,
don't do that. Don't do that.
Well,
that's not the point.
You said Jewish American. I am a Jewish American.
Okay.
No.
You're a big time Democrat.
She pisses them off so bad.
You're going to defend Joe Biden, notwithstanding
the look on her face some of the time too. I hope she's getting paid well. Actually, I'd do what she's doing for free now that I think about it.
And you know he's throwing Israel under the bus, and he's throwing Jewish American students under the bus at all these universities. It's sickening.
Yeah, I'll give you 10 seconds, Jessica.
I'm in. Jewish American telling you that there are definitely issues with the policy. I loved how Joe Biden came out of the gate as the strongest supporter in the international community of Israel. I know that he wants a solid fix. I know that he also understands that even within Israel, there are problems with Bibi Netanyahu's leadership. And I think that what you're saying, Leo, is very dangerous, just like what President Trump was saying is very dangerous.
Dangerous?
Why
to
are
throw,
you yelling?
to throw Israel under the bus?
Why are you yelling?
Give me a break.
Throw me under the bus. I'm just saying, yeah, there are a lot.
Oh, she just took like a middle of the road, kind of both sides position, and fuck it, they just both talked right over her. It's like I think I take a stronger position on that certainly than she does, or that she would even be allowed to, like on Fox News. But just like even like what like people are like, wow, there's some problems over there too. They just both fucking, the one dude was like yelling at her, and the other dude like kept trying to talk over her and shit. Like, I would, you know what? I hope she enjoys that, because it's very funny. It's very funny. They for a long time, if you remember back in the day, there was Hannity and Combs, right? But Combs was like kind of maybe the word weak isn't right, but he wasn't very assertive, right? Hannity would walk all over him, and Jessica doesn't let people do that, so that's pretty cool. My favorite is when she dunks on fucking Waters and Gutfeld on the 5, because somebody's got to do it, and it's good that it's her. Up next, we got a clip. This is a clip from The Daily Show, or that The Daily Show put together. Shout out to them for this editing job. This is well, you'll just have to watch it.
Want a news show that parties?
I literally did not go to sleep on Friday night.
Watch Cocaine News with your host, Donald Trump Jr.
The cocaine addict who happens to be the son of the president.
Hot takes.
You know, I know you're not allowed to talk about the great replacement theory.
Hard drugs.
Going 172 in a car while smoking crack.
And all the finger quotes you can handle.
Dangers of disinformation.
He called it blackface. Lost part of his penis.
Cutting out fat rails of journalism.
They checked a couple boxes, and maybe there's bombs blowing up, and he's scrolling at the little window. The political persecution.
That's pure uncut news candy.
It's Republican drama, yada, yada, yada. We have no idea. This isn't like my job.
Cocaine News.
Watch this. Okay, we're having a little trouble pulling up the video.
Weekend, 3 a.m.
What?
Weekends, 3 a.m. Very good. Like, Jon Stewart ain't perfect, but it was the right time for him to come back to the Daily Show. Gen X is in a bit of a tailspin right now, and if there's one person Gen X trusts, it's Jon Stewart, so that's pretty good. So we're actually a little ahead of schedule tonight, but that's fine. We have a couple palette cleansers. One is great. This is instead of being a trad wife, you should be a hag wife.
Here's what I made today as a hag wife. The first thing I did when I got up this morning is ask absolutely nobody what they wanted for breakfast, because they're going to eat exactly what I put in front of them. I love my terrifying spawn, and I want to make sure they have a nutritious and high-protein start to their day. So I toasted some of the bread I made fresh yesterday from the pulverized bones of Englishmen. If you can't get real Englishmen, you can use Americans in a pinch. We eat seasonally because the villagers will no longer sell me fresh fruit and vegetables. So in addition to cream cheese, I put strawberry preserves on top of the toast. I then gave it a sprinkling of digitalis just to make sure that my spawn have a defense against that toxin as they get older. I know that witch hunters will always be trying to put paralytics in their water, so it's important to build up an immunity to that poison early. After my demon offspring had been released for the day, it was time to start potion prepping for the week. With the vernal equinox coming up, I want to make sure everything is ready to blight crops and wither the bloom in maidens' cheeks, so I did a quick inventory of my materials. I made a lot of moon water last fall, and I have plenty of dried fungi and runic bones. I use my own runic system for the bones because it just feels right for me. Then it was time to check on our livestock. Since we've been exiled to the outskirts of society for our cursed ways, we've had a lot more space to cultivate noxious weeds and raise tiny feathered wyverns. Because I like to use everything, I took the entrails from the enemies I slaughtered yesterday and gave them to the wyverns. The tiny feathered wyverns will get many nutrients from the offal, and that way nothing goes to waste. Then I went out to steal some wild garlic from the little folk. I'm careful only to take a little so they don't turn our milk sour or curdle our cream, because I'm going to need it unspoiled for today. I also got lucky while I was outside and found a great stick. By the time I was done, I needed to start preparing our evening meal, so I used some of the bone meal, corpse tallow, and salt from the tears of men to make a crust. Then I mixed cream, cheese, and spinach to make a base. I added some dried mushrooms I found on a log down by the pond and rehydrated in sherry. I was out of Wild Mountain thyme I harvested last summer, so I had to use store-bought. I would say that I feel shame about this, but I don't know the meaning of the word. It's just not part of my lifestyle. Then I brewed myself a restorative potion and spent a few moments staring into the abyss. I used to get so busy between hexing and brewing that I would forget to stare into the abyss every day, and I found I was really missing out on an important way of reconnecting with my fiendish inclinations. So I really tried to carve out some time in my schedule for that piece of self-care. As part of that regular self-care, I try to spend a little time with my plants once a week. Today, I was potting up some new propagations, and I had to laugh because I found a bone in the potting soil. One of my spawn must have put it there. I wonder what kind of necromantic horror they were trying to grow. Then it was time for my unholy brood to return, so I left out a few pieces of raw meat for them to snack on and hid myself in a closet so I could jump out and scream at them when they came in. Tomorrow, I'll show you how I like to lure men into the bog behind the house for storage over the summer.
That was great. Again, the Discord, as far as palette cleansers and kind of weird shit to put like as a little bit of a break from the normal stuff that we're watching, the Discord does not disappoint. They've been doing heroes work on that for several years. Up next, we have yet another palette cleanser. This one is a 13. I'm going to call this 13 seconds of absolute perfection. It's about Confederate history. I hope everybody's ready for it.
Oh, way down south in the land of traders, rattlesnakes and alligators. Right away, come away, right away, come away.
Fuck yeah. Everybody's so creative. In this case, they actually are. All right, well, now we're done with the palette cleansers. Here's an edited down version of a 2-hour meeting held in Granbury. This is Granbury, Texas. This is of a pro-life meeting. This is 7.5 minutes of horror.
Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, life for life. The same penalty for harming or killing a born person is also imposed by God in his law for killing a pre-born person. There's no difference in the value of born people and pre-born people. The question is, if you've been alive during a genocide,
we have all been, several of them.
Nazi Germany, think of Stalinist Russia, think of Rwanda in 1994. What would you have done about it? In short, abortion is murder. And that's starting at the moment of fertilization, even prior to implantation.
Oh, that would, that even some sort of forms of contraceptive would then be outlawed if this was the law of the land.
B pill, or what's known as the morning after pill, which is used to terminate or kill a baby prior to implantation, that is an abortion. Other forms of abortion in this category would include what happens in IVF when a fertilized egg is created and is oftentimes destroyed. Those that do are terminating, are destroying a human life. IVF. What is that? In vitro fertilization. Fertilization abolished abortion in Texas. We are in a specifically, explicitly Christian organization. What gives human beings our objective, eternal value is that we are made in the image of God. Preborn are being taken to death, and they're being willingly taken there by their own parents. They know it's a person. They know it's a baby. They just say, well, that's violating my personal autonomy. Yeah, it's a human. I can kill a human. It's right in these circumstances. We have a whole bunch of candidates who are running today who have expressed their willingness to support abolition as well. I'm very excited about the upcoming session.
In regards to incest or rape, then
we would never endorse or be okay with abortions in the instance of incest or rape. We shouldn't charge a child with the crimes of their father. And there's no evidence that an abortion somehow makes a woman feel better.
Research has shown that there's a negative relation between the experience of sexual violence of mothers and the well-being of their children, such as symptoms of depression and post-traumatic stress. Maternal symptoms of post-traumatic stress and depression may affect the mother-child interaction and thereby child development.
And there's no evidence that an abortion somehow makes a woman feel better.
Ironic Pregnancy Center. Statistics actually show that a woman that carries a baby from rape kills better than a woman that aborts.
All interviews mention most of these mothers have mental disorders as a result of the experience of sexual violence, such as post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, self-injury, substance abuse, low self-esteem, identity problems, personality disorders, and prolonged grief.
This sounds like a great thing on the surface. Statistics aren't accurate, and you know they're not accurate.
No, they are accurate.
No, they're not accurate. They're not
Oh shit, get them.
accurate, and they're probably higher. They're probably much higher, is what I'm saying.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, she was like, your statistics are wrong. It's even more the way that you think it is.
Hospitals now, when they go in there and they're saying they're having a miscarriage, more than likely they're having an abortion. And they're saying they're having a miscarriage.
What? What the fuck?
The root problem.
When we go right down to it, it is murder. I understand your reluctance to call women who get abortion murderers, right? You're in a service where you're trying to help those women.
I am.
And that's very important. And I've spent a lot of time, not at pregnancy resource centers, but at abortion centers doing sidewalk advocacy. I've seen these women. These are real humans.
So you're like harassing people going in there, whether... So when he says abortion centers, he means Planned Parenthood. So this means he's harassing people who are going in there for prenatal care, people who intend upon having their baby, actually. He's just harassing all comers, I imagine.
Human beings, their lives don't matter more than the babies they're killing.
I agree, 100%.
It's very similar to the issue of slavery.
No, it's not.
Right? There were a million reasons that people had not to make slavery illegal. And eventually it was made illegal, and it was fine. And it doesn't mean that there weren't complications with that. I'm not saying there are complications with it, but let's not wait till we've sorted everything out and it's pristine.
And I don't want to wait.
Right?
I don't want to wait.
It's the equal protection idea that we're not going to kill anyone, right? That doesn't deserve it. If you've been charged with murder, right, those are circumstances, but a baby we're not going to kill, even if they're the product of rape.
Whoa.
The scenario that gets confusing is the instance where the life of the mother is in danger. Specifically, you don't say, oh, you have a condition that could be life-threatening. We're talking about imminent danger to the mother now. In that situation, you triage both patients, the baby and the mother, and you do whatever you can to save. You have to save the life of the mother because the baby's dependent upon the mother, right? Baby's far enough along that the baby can be removed healthily, then we're going to do that, and we're going to treat both patients separately.
This guy has no background in any of this. This is all ideology, right? Do you like by the time like the scenario he's describing, the mother to be wants to have the baby, there's some kind of complication that almost always where the fetus is no longer viable and is now like continuing to attempt to carry the fetus is now a pretty strong danger to the mother.
Talk about the penalties that would be assessed against the woman.
Yeah.
What would those look like if...
So murder, if someone came in here and murdered one of the people here, they should be charged with murder. We simply take the exception that currently exists under the Texas Penal Code that defines murder and then says abortion is not murder. We remove that. And that's it. Pays for it, someone helps plan it, etc. They're all involved.
And now it's like a fucking conspiracy charge. You just filled out the paperwork for this person at their health insurance or Medicare or Medi-Cal if it's in California. I don't know what Texas's version of Medi-Cal. Now you're in on it too. Now we're just gonna fucking arrest everybody. Mop the floors at the fucking the Planned Parenthood. Murder.
Will be charged for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
I totally agree with everything that you have presented. I mean, I don't disagree with anything. If we say that they have murdered the child and we're going to prosecute them and we're going to some way make them pay money, death, prison, whatever, I see a conglomeration of a mess trying to get all that done.
Yeah, you got 50, 60,000 abortions in Texas a year. You want to arrest 50, 60,000 women. Let's say this was done nationally.
Whoa, that's a lot of fucking people to charge with murder. Fuck the trial, right?
You want to arrest 1 million women every year. No, I don't want any women to have abortions. And the good news is that when you treat abortion like murder, that we should expect it to decrease significantly. Does anyone know roughly how many homicides there are in the United States each year? 25,000. Do you know the difference? You know the difference? If you kill someone who is born, you can go to jail for the rest of your life. You can be executed.
If a person has committed this crime, and we're going to have to go through a lot of stuff about it, it's still the right thing to do because this is God's word. This is what he said.
Yes.
And it's the right thing to do.
You need to hold everyone accountable.
And I agree with everything that you said. I'm absolutely on board. Okay, let's talk about minor women. The Bible assigns responsibility for that woman in the father's household to the father.
Right? Oh no. Oh great, now dad goes to fucking prison. Everybody going to jail, baby. It's Texas.
So what do we do in that case?
So yes.
Oh, well, dad goes to jail, doctor goes to jail, fucking terrified girl goes to juvenile hall, mom goes to jail. The cool aunt who was nice to the child and helped counsel them through this, maybe because the parents weren't as understanding. Jail for you, jail for the doctor, jail for the fucking receptionist at the fucking doctor's office. Just everybody, just fucking throw everybody in jail. Obviously.
The father is responsible. We hold the father responsible for raising their family well. That doesn't mean that we're going to charge a father with murder in the event that a woman gets an abortion. That would not be.
So then what do you do with that minor woman? Just allow the justice system to take that up?
Oh, you throw the doctor in jail, obviously.
What he's advocating for is equal protection. The laws are already structured for a minor who commits murder.
Yeah.
And so they would simply fall into the same category.
Exactly.
And we can stop it. We don't have the federal government with their thumb on us saying abortion has to be legal. See, we have Roe v. Wade. I'm not looking for is consensus. If we can get the people in the House and the Senate to do their jobs, and thankfully a lot of those folks who don't really want to be real Republicans are going to get replaced in this next election.
Or you're,
If we can get it done next session, that would be nice.
So there's a lot of purple. So, I mean, there's a lot going on there. They want to throw everybody in jail, right? But there's a lot of purple districts or like lean R districts in Texas. The people that are there get primaried, or maybe they've termed out. Oh, there's no terming out, but the people there maybe resign or whatever, and the person, or they get primaried, and the person that's running against them is just a fucking wackadoodle that wants to do this. Those lean R districts are going to go lean D. And then the not just the House of Representatives in the U.S., but the state house in Texas is going to flip. If they keep, this is how they're going to do it. They're going to, I'm sorry. There's like enough moderate Republicans who are just going to not fucking vote for those people. They don't even have to come out and vote for the Democrat. They're just not going to vote for these fucking people. So, luckily enough for us, as the feckless Democratic Party does not do its job representing its constituents or just the people of the United States, luckily enough, the Republicans have fucking wilded the fuck out and have decided we're just going to go full Christian nationalism. Like in a time where less and less people are religious in the first place. And there's more people of different religions in this country other than Christianity, especially other than evangelical Christianity, than there have ever been. And they're not going to be able to count on the Catholics. The Catholics ain't going to vote for them. The Catholics are like, well, my Bible says abortion's bad, but I don't care. Like most of them, or the Pope says abortion's bad, but I don't care. Most Catholics are liberals, so they're like going to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory here. Whereas if they had like a functional party that could just fucking be a little bit more moderate, they would wipe the floor with the useless Democratic Party. Anyway, we're moving on. Did you know that Havana syndrome is back? And I think the reason it's back is because 60 Minutes just needs something to report on.
A car chase in Florida may have provided the vital clue.
Pull over! Pull over!
To a national security mystery. Many U.S. officials and their families believe they've been injured by a secret weapon in the hands of a foreign adversary.
It's devastating. It's absolutely devastating.
For the first time, we have evidence of who might be responsible. Are we being attacked?
My personal opinion, yes.
By whom?
And it cuts off here. Just show the evidence. Show the evidence. I don't know what's going on here, but this is like, there'd have to be some evidence of this. Otherwise, they just sound like the people who are talking about directed energy weapons that are fucking blowing up trees in the California wildfires and shit. You know, are people who are diplomats or spies subject to electronic countermeasures? Sure. Are they fucking cooking people's brains? I'm going to go with probably not. I'm open to the idea that it could be true, but we would have to see more evidence on this. And so far as I can tell, this is a moral panic. So far as I can tell. A moral panic that's happening in the State Department and in our intelligence services. And that's not a great look. But again, I don't know. I'm just, because of the things that we talk about here, this just looks a lot like the satanic panic, but happening in the State Department. We'll see, though. Anyway, up next, we got, again, thanks to the Discord, we found Drenda Keesee. She's running unopposed for a county commission seat in Ohio, and she's a self-proclaimed prophet. And here she is on the show with Fire by Night reject Robin Bullock.
It's Baal worship. So we've come down. See, that day we called down, I said, Lord, send the fire, the Elijah moment. Then this portal forms over the White House of fire. And it's over it now. And they don't want anybody to see that. And but it was there, and I guess it's still
it's there. The fucking orb over the White House again. This is amazing.
And it was their own cameras that showed it. And people couldn't get over it because it...
But was it raining? Was there maybe some water on the lens? Is there a lens flare of some kind? Like, cameras aren't perfect.
It was like a round circle, and at night it looked like an orange moon surrounded with a white circle, and then this...
But wasn't it the same color, like almost the exact same color as the lighting on the ground?
Storm over to the side.
Tell me about, what is that portal for? What's the purpose of that?
Well, I called for fire like Mount Carmel that day. After that it formed. But there is a corridor. See, demonic spirits can't open...
I'm convinced this guy's wearing a wig.
...portals into heaven. But they open them through time.
Or trying to build a tower, right? Tower of Babel.
That's what that was about. And it was about... And there was a lot...
This show should be called the Tower of Babel, but, you know, the Babel spelled the other way.
...to that tower. But what you saw is a corridor open and a battle over a portal. over this nation.
Or just some sort of artifact of the video recording or the camera itself. Again, that light was the same color, you know, like how they have the light, like some of the lights like on the street are orange so that it doesn't fuck up observatories and stuff. There's a lot of that, like where I used to live over in the West Silicon Valley. It's odd that the light above the White House was the same color as that kind of lighting. In fact, no, it's not odd. It kind of explains where the fucking orb came from. It's obviously some sort of artifact. I'd like to. This was a long time ago, so fuck it. But there's got to be like a video or something somewhere of someone explaining how that happened. Maybe somebody who's an optics expert or something. Somebody who's got experience with cameras, video cameras, etc. Don't worry, we got more. We got more of her. This is just more of this person who is running unopposed for a county commissioner's spot. We're going to keep an eye on the county she's running in, everybody. We do a show on Tuesdays after a down ballot about this stuff. Her county commissioners meetings might be lit.
We've spoken.
Well, the fucking great website you got there, Elon. Let's try this again. I have more and more trouble lately on the Sunday show because it's like a fucking rapid fire panic attack of clips, many of them from a barely functioning website. Oh, this isn't going so great here. I thought this is gonna like, oh, we're gonna have a tight little segment about this person who's running for county commissioner. Nope, not gonna happen. Let's try this again here.
We've spoken with guest Gary Kaw before about what's going on in the corruption in government and bringing the end of the world, the new reset, the new world order, all of the things you keep hearing about. And today we're going to go further and talk about corruption inside of religious agendas, as well as the Freemasonry, Illuminati, and the Vatican. Let's go there here today. I'm Drenda, and this is Drenda on Guard. Let's get into it.
Oh, I love her. I mean, I don't love her for the community where she's running for office, but for my purposes, I love her. I love her. We're going to definitely be keeping an eye on this. We got one more clip here. This is, here's a segment she produced to promote her book. Apparently she can write a book.
Hi, I'm Drenda, and I've written a new book called Fight Like Heaven, a cultural guide to living on guard.
Fight Like Heaven reveals the cultural signals of the enemy's plan for destruction in your life and how
tornadoes
you can fight back.
Brown people?
I expose the 7 mountains of cultural influence and how the enemy has invaded these areas and trying to bring them together.
Oh, this is just straight up Christian dominionist. She's talking about the 7 dominions, the 7 mountains. Yeah.
To converge against the Lord.
This groundbreaking book sheds light on the shadiest areas of our modern world and will empower
I'm sure it does.
to stand against the forces of deception, confusion, and ignorance. Be bold. Be courageous. Live on guard. Go to fightinglikeheaven.com to get your illuminating copy today.
I expose the organizations, the people behind it, what's going on, the attacks against your children, against your health, your finances, our government, our families, our religion, and our way of living.
She's got a sword.
Stop conforming and jump off the world's path of destruction. Discover
what a
the truth
crappy
about
commercial,
the 7
too.
mountains of cultural influence. For just $17.76, open your eyes to hidden agendas and protect yourself and your family in these
Sounds like they're trying to sell you a blender, or like the way that guy's tone of voice, it just sounds like it's an infomercial for a fancy blender that they're trying to sell you at 2 in the morning on some fucking random cable channel.
unprecedented times.
And this is a God that is a must, and it is an urgent call to action. We need to hear and see what's going on, and then we need to act, and we need to fight like heaven and kick hell out.
She's going to chop our heads off, folks. Careful. She's going to walk in my fucking makeshift studio here and chop my head off. Well, speaking of the 7 mountains, we got one more from her. This is her on some random show. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of all these crazy shows that we watch around here. One last clip of her, and then we're going to move on to some other nonsense.
So I wrote Fight Like Heaven, a cultural guide to living on guard, to expose these 7 areas that they've attacked and that they're converging against the Lord. They'll not win. It'll not turn out like they said.
Of course not.
And the people of God will, and I make that clear in the book, where we are in the hour, and the people of God will be very happy how this all ends, but we have to do our part. God is calling on us.
And we need to be prepared.
So I was praying one night, as you know, and I was saying, Lord, what is my mission right now? I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. How do I help bring light to
Run for a board of supervisors. The Shasta County saga is going to moderate itself soon. So we need something new and completely unhinged. That's what the Lord said.
To this? And I heard the voice of the Lord, and he just shared with me that just like John the Baptist, you know, they came to him and said, who are you? Are you the Messiah? Are you this? Are you that? And John said this, and this is what I believe is my mission this hour, and I believe it's the mission of the body of Christ. And he said, no, he's not any of those things. He said, I'm simply one crying in the desert, prepare the pathway for the Lord. And you and I are preparing the pathway for the coming of the Lord. And we do that by every means declaring the truth and by occupying all the mountains.
Occupying all the mountains. She's a mountaineer. It's just straight up Dominionist stuff. She's running unopposed, so she's going to win for the County Board of Commissioners. And if she's in a place where she's running unopposed, that means we got to keep an eye on whatever that County Board of Commissioners is. So we have a women in sports clip now, but it's a little different than the other women in sports clips we're running now. Whoever this fucking guy is, it's Dixieland Delight. I guess his name is Clay Travis, not to be confused with Clay Clark, who does the Reawaken America tour. Now, just a cis woman is competing at the collegiate level in a man's sport, and this guy is pissed.
Caitlin Clark, listen to me carefully, could not start on a state champion boys high school team in any big state in America. Texas, Florida, California, Georgia, North Carolina. Maybe she could start on like a Wyoming or North Dakota team. I even would.
Wait, what are they not? What the fuck?
Out that. The idea that she could play in the NBA is.
Oh no, this is NBA. This is Caitlin Clark too. She's like a phenomenon in women's basketball. I know this because I listen to Adam Todd Brown's podcast, and they're like, because of her and a few other players, the people on their sports show are just glued to the WNBA. And I guess this guy's mad that this woman might end up being hired by a NBA team, which would be amazing.
Single most ludicrous argument that could be made in 2024 in the world of sports. And it is an example of identity politics triumphing over basic reality and facts. I would love to see this happen.
I would too. What if she's good? Because she doesn't have to be the best fucking player in the NBA. But if she's like a good team player and can dribble and maneuver and pass and fucking work well with the rest of the team, that'd be fan-fucking-tastic. Hello.
I'd like to see Caitlin Clark play in the Big Three. I think she got offered $5 million by Ice Cube. I don't think that's a bad move. Caitlin Clark could not start on a top state champion high school boys team.
Ooh, I don't know about that. This person is a fucking phenomenon. Like, I don't fucking care about sports, and I know who she is.
Period. She could not play on any men's basketball team in America that is hoping to make the NCAA tournament. Every single bench player on any men's NCAA tournament team right now would destroy Caitlin Clark in a game of one-on-one.
But this is a team. These are 5 players. These are 5 players. And some of the players on the team, their job isn't to be good at one-on-one. Some of the players on the team, their job is to see what's going on and pass the ball, actually. literally some of the players, that's what they do. Or they're good at defense. They're good at stealing the ball.
The farthest down the bench white scrub walk-on any team in college basketball would cook Caitlin Clark one-on-one, and it would be an embarrassment to her.
This reminds me of that time. It was a tennis thing, and I think it was Billie Jean King, where some asshole was running around saying that he could beat her at tennis. And so she said, let's play tennis. And then she just kept hitting the ball at him. I mean, she was trying to win, but every once in a while, she just hit the ball right the fuck at him. And I think it was Billie Jean King, but I'm not sure. It was amazing, though. It was amazing. So somebody in chat said Serena Williams. I think there was, if Serena Williams did this too, that's interesting, but I think that it happened prior to. And I don't think Serena Williams did this, but I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was Billie Jean King. A few times she just fucking hit the ball right at the guy. It was fucking amazing. This reminds me of that. This woman is a fucking phenomenon. Like, again, somebody in chat said that, oh, you know, now my husband is really into the WNBA, and she's bringing eyeballs to the WNBA, her and many other players, I'm sure. And if a regular NBA team wants to be like, hey, you want to give it a go? Fuck yeah, go for it. Because, I mean, if, you know, it's the men's game is a little more physical, and if she's not strong, and if she's not strong enough to handle that, she'd go right back to her team. But fucking, at least she did it. At least she gave it a go. I say fucking go for it. And kudos to the team that tries, especially if it's like a struggling NBA team, because you have to consider these teams are not just sports teams. They're fucking businesses. And if the team isn't going to win anyway, and they can bring her on and bring eyeballs to their team and sell merch and get the fucking people, fill the stands up with the people in the city, and the people in the city are excited about it and stuff. That's like actually one of the good things about sports. Like, I don't like sports teams in cities. They tend to suck resources out of the cities by making the cities help pay for their fucking stadiums and shit. But if it's a team that's not going to win, they like have fucking, like, everybody's like, you're going to finish last, then fucking take a chance. Take a fucking chance. Go for it. Anyway, up next, we got Rafael Cruz, not Rafael Edward Cruz, but Rafael Cruz is Ted Cruz's dad. I'm going to talk about Jimmy Carter being a communist. Because of course he is. I think this guy killed JFK.
Having come from Cuba, I know what freedom is, because I lost my freedom in Cuba. And so because of that, I remember a pivotal year for me was 1975, 1976, when Jimmy Carter was running for president. The first time I heard Jimmy Carter campaign, I knew the man was a communist. He sounded just like Fidel Castro. I knew it from day one.
All right, you could say maybe that the guy that you think he has communist leanings, but saying that he sounds like Castro, that's just too much, dude. Too much. A little too much there. All right.
And so that's what got me actively involved in politics.
So that's fucking crazy. So the last fundamentally decent person who was the president of the United States of America. Was Jimmy Carter perfect? No, but I think he was, I mean, from what I know about him, and especially after being the president, fundamentally decent man. I got to call him a communist. Fucking assholes. Leave him alone. He hasn't been the president in a long time, and he went and built houses for people until his body fucking literally couldn't do it anymore. Put that up against any former president. Also, his brother was cool as shit. The Billy Carter with the beer, that guy was cool. That guy was the Hunter Biden of his day. Wonder if he had a big hog too. Up next, Charlie Kirk, moderate.
And you see here in the House seat in Alabama, it can swing a Republican district by 26 points. The issue really is on the discarding of embryos. And I think a pragmatic, middle-of-the-road approach is don't discard them, have them donated, or have them stored for potential future use.
Donated to who? He's talking about IVF. He's talking about IVF. He's talking about, well, donate to who? What are you giving to me? Add them to my embryo collection? Who donate them to who? They get discarded because nobody wants. They're nobody. Just like who? Do you want to fucking put them in like a some kind of series of giant jars connected with tubes like on fucking The Matrix?
In vitro fertilization, which essentially takes the female egg, fertilizes it, and then reimplants the egg during the ovulation period with the attempt for the egg to attach to the uterine wall, and if it sticks, then the continued fertilization process is able to hopefully get through gestation, and the baby can develop and be born after 40 weeks. But what a shame it would be if all of a sudden we have an underwhelming election this November because we cannot get our act together on an issue that 80 to 90% of the people of this country are in enthusiastic support of IVF.
Oh, look at this monster. This monster I helped create. Did y'all know that it's a monster? I had no idea that the monster I helped create was going to be a monster and that no one was going to like the monster that I helped create. All right. We got three clips, 2 stories. Well, stories is a weird way to talk about it. We're going to check in on Brett and Heather real quick. Looking forward to having Homozygote on the show in the next few weeks to go over a partial or maybe even a full episode of their show. But for now, since they're on academic probation and we can only really run them in long form when Marcus is here because he's an academic, we got a couple clips. Here's them talking about Huberman. If you don't know who Mr. Huberman is, he's like a male bro influencer who's sort of trying to pretend to be like a kinder, gentler version of somebody like Andrew Tate or whatever. And it turns out he's a giant piece of shit. And he has been very unkind and manipulative to the women in his life who he has been in romantic or sexual relationships with, to say the least. The article in New York Magazine is fucking amazing, and I suggest everyone read it. You could leave right now, actually, if you're watching live and read it, and I wouldn't even be mad. Here's Brett and Heather talking about it.
And I also think there's a disturbing component on the other side with respect to this journalist, the way she portrays this, and the way she chooses to end the article.
I don't remember.
She ends the article with the jilted ex-lovers of Huberman's having found each other, having become a friend group. The way this article ends is actually going to only amplify the Rorschach nature of this text.
That gives men who want to try to be like Huberman cover.
Not only cover, but the point is you actually,
It's good for the women. See, they're fine. They're better than fine.
The end of the article was that the women who he had lied to while he was sleeping with all of them, telling some of them, not all of them, but some of them that they were in monogamous relationships, that they're now all in a group chat because they decided that they actually don't hate each other. They hate him. And so they're in a group chat. This isn't really a happy ending. The only good thing about it is they found each other because there's safety in numbers when a person who victimized you is famous. If there's a bunch of you and you can kind of have each other's back, that's good. That doesn't mean that the fucking story has a happy ending. That means that there was that's a silver lining on a cloud. Doesn't mean the cloud ain't there, right?
And they got new friends.
If you were a screenwriter, then the point is...
It's a rom-com.
It is a rom-com.
Yeah.
Because what's happened is actually these women have found each other.
No, this would only be a rom-com if all the women ended up in a polycule.
And geez, maybe Huberman's going to be invited to their gathering this summer, right?
Wait, what? No.
But I don't think so.
You say that, but it's the obvious place for the script to go.
It is.
And so
but it's not a script. This is these people, they did massive amounts of reporting on this, and it went through fact checking and legal, so they didn't get sued. This isn't a fucking screenplay. What is wrong with these people? What the fuck is wrong with Brett and Heather?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
You see my point?
I do.
And so the point is the idea that he was doing this duplicitously, and now it's in the open, and they actually get along. That's interesting, right? That worries me. That is actually built into this article for a reason.
Yeah. And I had not seen that. I had read the article, but I had not put together that actually provides a little cherry for men who want to behave badly with women.
Wait, what? No.
Of what they're saying in this, what they're saying in response to this piece.
No.
It's truly frightening.
Like, I suggest everybody read the article. It's such a good article, well researched. And also, if you don't want to read it, there's an episode of Conspirituality about it that goes over some of it. But I suggest reading the article. It's not that long. It's a long form piece, but it's not that long. And this isn't, the end isn't like, well, actually everything's fine. It doesn't matter that he did it because they're all friends. That's not the thing at the end. The thing at the end is these women found each other and figured out what was going on. And they pointed their ire collectively in the right direction at the person who was lying to them. Not at each other, because they're like, well, you weren't the problem. Like, you didn't know about me and I didn't know about you. This is not like, lie to a bunch of women. Don't worry. You'll make them friends and they'll appreciate you for it. That's not they're just lying about this. But don't worry, we got another clip of Brett and Heather. And what this one's about, it's a surprise.
So the bigger point that we are seeing female strategies being deployed across a number of domains. And if you try it out as men pronounce it, like, what do you get Trudeau? I mean, Trudeau, like this pathetic. Is what it's pathetic and
it's pathetic.
Anti-masculine,
it's not,
he looks ridiculous.
It's not what women like. There's a wrong.
Oh, dude, I know a lot of women and gay men who are like, that is snack.
I had to believe.
He got by because he was pretty for a little while.
Right. He's also gay.
I don't think he's gay. I don't care if he is or he's not. But I think Brett is using this as like an insult here, right? I don't think Justin Trudeau's gay. I mean, if he is and he's had to be in the closet for his political career, that's pretty bad for him. But again, maybe it's a situation because ain't he married to a woman?
Trudeau?
Yeah. This is now officially known. But
wait, it's officially known?
Here.
No.
Even Heather doesn't believe him. It's like, what the fuck?
But the point is, to the extent that there is a false
so that's
story.
Why he's being divorced?
Yeah.
Okay.
To the extent I certainly hope I have that right, but I'm pretty sure I do.
So, anti-masculine. First of all, there's just a lot going on there, and I feel like it's definitely time to bring Marcus on, homozygote, because I have to watch some of this stuff in long term or in long form to kind of see where they're at right now, because this is stupid. I mean, before they were saying like crazy shit about the vaccine and all kind of bigoted shit about trans people, but now if they're just calling everybody gay because they think they're too fucking pretty, they've fucking completely jumped the shark. Like at least before there was some sort of heterodox fucking cover they could have or whatever, be like, we're just against the grain, and you may think that what we're saying is crazy, but that's just because you're out to get us or whatever. But just being like, oh, he's anti-masculine, and it's just because he's pretty, right? He's got pretty features. Do you remember when everybody was like, he's Fidel Castro's son? Well, that didn't work, so now they're just going to call him, oh, can't say that. Usually we end the podcast portion of the show on a low note, like the thing we just saw, but this week we're going to end it on a high note. This is this is a fake ABC News investigation about Tim Pool, and this is pretty funny.
Why isn't Tim Pool getting repeatedly punched in the face wherever he goes? It's a question being asked around social media platforms, with absolutely no videos of Tim Pool being punched in the face yet to be released.
How many videos of Tim Pool being punched in the face on the internet have you seen?
See how many? 0.
It's been more than 48 hours since the man without a girlfriend joked, "It's funny that women in NYC are getting punched in the face." Now
it's not. I mean, it depends on there are, I guess, circumstances where it's funny when someone gets punched in the face. But generally, if like people are just like assaulting each other in New York City, that's not funny.
Now, social media sites are being flooded with questions as to why there weren't any videos of Tim Pool getting punched in the face on the internet.
It's sad. I mean, it's very telling, the state of things when you can't see Tim Pool's face get punched on the internet.
One TikTok user lamented, "I can't find a single video anywhere of this guy getting punched in the face." Social media influencer Jesse Martin was one of the first to complain about this online.
I never really thought anything of it, and now obviously this came out, and now it's like, wow, like that's crazy. I've seen probably 100 videos making fun of Tim Pool, but somehow I've never seen a video of his face being punched.
While police in Tim's home state of West Virginia wouldn't confirm that Tim Pool had not filed any reports that he had been punched in the face, they did confirm that the lack of video on the internet of his face not being punched had raised some suspicions.
In cases similar to this one, when somebody is Tim Pool, you would really expect there to be at least one, if not multiple, videos of him being punched in the face on the internet.
17-year-old Mountain View student Brianna King spoke to me about her frustration with the lack of a single internet video in which Tim Pool gets punched in the face.
I'm absolutely shocked that we haven't seen anything yet. After years of seeing Tim Pool's stupid face on the internet, you would think that we might get to see it be punched at least once. We came pretty close with R.A. the Rugged Man, but sadly it just didn't happen.
You are that guy.
I'm not that guy.
Well, that was a great clip.
It was a huge disappointment to everyone.
State and local authorities throughout the nation are urging anyone with video of Tim Pool being punched in the face to please come forward and share it with the rest of us. In Glendale, Summer Davis, ABC News 10.
Subscribe to Terminal Mode to be offered a tour.
I did subscribe.
And poker with the boys. And hopefully someday, a video of me getting punched in the face on the internet.
Oh, obviously you should not do that. Don't do it. If you see Tim Pool, don't. But I mean, that raises a valid point. And also, the thing he posted was gross. It's actually not funny if there's like some group of people, or if it's just a thing like in the New York, probably in the nightlife scene or in the dating scene or whatever, the bar scene, that women are at recently, even if it's just like a blip on the radar or whatever, that women are being punched in the face in New York City. That's actually bad. It's not funny. And it also sort of cuts against his cities are scary and you should be afraid of the cities, but that doesn't mean anything. He's not generally the most consistent person in the world. Don't do it at all. Don't do it. Hack all the things that don't do it. If you can be, don't do it. Don't assault people. Don't do it. But if you see it happening, laugh, as long as he's in no like real physical danger. If somebody was actually beating him up, you would have to step in and stop it if you had the means. I would do that. I don't want anybody. I would stop something like that if I had the means, but I'd wait to make sure. Anyway, that's the podcast. Glad we ended on a good note tonight. Live viewers, stick around. Stick around. The internet seems to be holding up tonight, which is real good. We got some great stuff in red light tonight. We got Carrie Lake, because she's only allowed in red light. We got little Nikki Fuentes. We got something worse than little Nikki Fuentes. And then somehow the Family Research Council is the voice of reason in one of our stories. And we got hard-hitting analysis of the Tennessee chemtrails bill, not from Jim Lee. And we got, every week we do an Aussie cooker during the red light. And I think I found a new guy. to add to our cast of characters, as well as, you can imagine, it's a death poll. And if you're a longtime viewer of this show, you know exactly who that's going to be. Anyway, you can support this project at patreon.com/echoplex or at eplex.store, where there are memberships similar to the Patreon memberships. I'd prefer if you did it there, but if you're used to using Patreon, no problem. And just real quick, thanks to Pete Jensen for a donation during the podcast part of the show. Things are getting better financially for this organization, thanks to all of you, but the end of the month is still, well, I'm just glad I have roommates who love to go shopping. We'll be back for Red Light.